What's up, guys? Part-Time Gamer Dad here, and today we are going to talk about my predictions for SummerSlam 2023. We have a lot of big matches to get through, so let's get into it. This card looks incredible. It's got a lot of great build in it. It's got some marquee matchups. This is probably the first pay-per-view in a really long time where every single match feels like it's been properly built for the most part. And I think the one exception to that is going to be the 20-man Slim Jim Battle Royal. Now, I personally feel that the winner for the Slim Jim Battle Royal is pretty obvious. Yeah? It's got to be L.A. Knight. Yeah! He is the clear favorite in this match. He is over as heck. And here's the thing. There's some great wrestlers in this match that have already been named, right? Like Nakamura, Tommaso Ciampa, Sheamus. But I think that you got to have him win this. And then you got to put him into a feud immediately afterwards where he gets a significant win. I think the problem with this match is that it has no significance unless they announce something tonight on SmackDown. So next up, we have Shayna Baszler versus Ronda Rousey in this MMA rules fight, or match, or whatever you want to call it. And look, I've never been a big fan of either Shayna or Ronda. Ronda had a nice little run, 2018 to 2019. Shayna had that really awesome coming out Elimination Chamber match in 2020 that led to Becky retaining the Women's Championship at WrestleMania 36. I think it's Shayna's time. I think Shayna has just kind of hung out long enough. She's been linked with Ronda on a couple occasions. Ronda's leaving. It's time for her to go, and it's time for Shayna to have that significant win. She needs to make Ronda pass out. She doesn't need her to tap out. I mean, if she tapped out, it'd still be cool, but I want to see Ronda Rousey pass out in the midst of a submission hold from the pain or just choking the life out of her. I think that would be a really cool story, and it would make Shayna a legitimate threat to whichever championship she goes after. Next up, you have my pick for what will probably undoubtedly be match of the night, perhaps match of the year, in Gunther. I know people say Gunther, but I say Gunther, or Walter, if we just want to do that, versus Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship. What an historic reign Gunther's had. I don't see him losing it to Drew McIntyre. They're so close to him breaking the Honky Tonk Man's record, and I don't think they want Honky Tonk to keep that record. I think Gunther makes the most sense. It's time that we gave this record to him. He has had a hell of a reign. He's had some really great matches. Right off the bat, Drew McIntyre and him had that triple threat with Sheamus involved. He also had the match at Clash of the Castle with Sheamus. So I think just by virtue of the fact that he's so close to breaking the reign, it's got to be Gunther. But I will say this. It could very well be a double DQ, double countout, double down that just leads to a DQ finish with maybe Imperium attacking Drew McIntyre, and then Sammy and KO come out and help him out. I don't know. I think that what we could be seeing is a dirty finish to the match, but then in a month and a half's time, whenever the record is broken, Drew could dethrone Gunther for it. So for now, the person I have walking out of SummerSlam as IC champ is Gunther. Next up, we have what they're calling like the most viral match on the card or something like that. But it's Logan Paul versus Ricochet. I love Ricochet. I've always loved Ricochet. Even before Battle of Super Juniors, where he and Ospreay kind of took the internet by storm. Always loved Ricochet. Followed him in Lucha Underground with his Prince Puma. Followed him in New Japan. I mean, like, he's just a great wrestler and always has been. Logan Paul has really come into his own in the wrestling industry. And I think that this is the win that's going to put him back on the map. I think that we're going to see him show up in India. I think we're going to see him show up just like as we continue towards probably Survivor Series and Royal Rumble time frame. They just re-signed him to a massive deal. They want to put him on the show. It's going to get more eyes on the product. And honestly, it'll get more eyes on him because there's a lot of the wrestling community who doesn't follow him. I happen to be one of those kind of in between like YouTube and wrestling, so I kind of fall into both camps, but not everybody does. So I think this will be a great opportunity for Logan Paul to get some exposure to WWE, and I think Ricochet and him may not be done. They have Payback coming up. I think maybe Ricochet gets his Payback at the next pay-per-view, but I got Logan Paul for SummerSlam. This one, I think, is going to be very, very interesting. It is the most intriguing match on the card to me, and it is Seth freaking Rollins defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Finn Balor of the Judgment Day. Now, you have Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest, lurking in the shadows with the Money in the Bank contract. You also have Rhea Ripley, the women's world champion, and you also have the North American champion of Dominic Mysterio also around. So you have basically 1v4, right, if you really want to break this down. I think we're going to see a story where Finn basically repeats what he did 7 years ago and defeats Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship with help from the Judgment Day, of course. But then also Damian Priest will tease the Money in the Bank cash-in, but it won't happen this evening. I think a Money in the Bank cash-in will happen, which is spoilers for the next prediction. But I think we're going to see Finn Balor finally, 7 years later, walk out with the World Heavyweight Championship around his waist, not injured. He is going to make a huge moment tonight. And I think we might slowly see like a bit of a turn. I'm not really sure if it's going to be Finn or Damian. I really feel like it would probably be Damian, but we're going to continue to see those threads of the Judgment Day slowly falling apart. And maybe they kick out Finn and he becomes a babyface, and Damian like tries to assert himself to take control of Judgment Day. But I think regardless of what happens, Finn Balor walks out with the title tonight. All right, Asuka, Bianca, and Charlotte. Triple threat women's championship. I think this has got to be Io Sky cashing in. I think what's going to happen, and I heard this idea from Steve. Steve here, you know, going in Raw, Wrestle Juice. Yo, Steve, if you're watching this, what's up, man? Let's collab. But he made a really good suggestion. I really love this spot. I think it's great. It's that Charlotte gets misted in the eyes by Asuka. Bianca picks Asuka up for the KOD, and as she's going to deliver it, she gets speared from Charlotte, who then hits the KOD on Asuka, which then leaves the door wide open for Damage Control to come down. Bayley and Io Sky. Io cashes in, hits that moonsault on maybe Asuka. I would prefer somebody like Bianca. I think Asuka losing the belt is enough. So maybe she hits the moonsault on Charlotte or Bianca just to protect Asuka a little bit and walks out with the Women's Championship. And then, man, could you imagine the different routes they can go with that? I think it should still be Asuka versus Io. I think that's a great story. But for me, I feel like Io's walking out with this. So I'm going to call cash-in. If the cash-in doesn't happen, I have Asuka walking out. If it does happen, I have Io walking out. And here's the trick, guys. Charlotte's undefeated at SummerSlam, I believe. So we have that lurking in the background. This is probably the one I'm most uncomfortable with, the one I'm least confident in. But let's say Io Sky's walking out with the Women's Championship. Fingers crossed. 4 months ago, at this point, I sat in my car towards the beginning of this channel, and I did a little reel, and I said that Team Rhodes is where I landed. You can see right here, I'm American Nightmare. I love Cody Rhodes. I've always loved Cody Rhodes. I loved Cody Rhodes back in 2007 when Dusty and Randy had that bull rope match. And I've always been a big fan of him for over a decade and a half now. He's one of the guys who got my love for wrestling to stay constant through the 2010s, even when WWE was having some issues throughout that time. And he's really the main reason I watched AEW, him, Kenny Omega, and that match with Dustin he had. I mean, like, Cody's my boy. And this match with Brock, I feel like it's going to be good, but it's just going to be good. And 4 months ago, I said that Cody was going to beat Roman, and I really believed that. But I could see the logic behind Cody losing to Roman in the context of the story of the Bloodline. I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I'm gonna say Cody isn't just beating Brock. He is walking away with like a definitive win. So he's not gonna roll him up while he's in a Kimura lock. There's not gonna be any finish with the ref calling the match off. Cody's gonna beat him. He's going to get the 1, 2, 3. It's going to be clean. It's going to be definitive. He's probably going to hit like 9 crossroads and then pin him. But this has to happen. And Brock Lesnar winning does not make sense. Brock is in the twilight of his career. John Cena's done the same thing where he comes, has a big marquee match at SummerSlam, puts somebody over. Just did it at WrestleMania with Austin Theory. This time, Brock is going to do the same thing for Cody Rhodes. We're going to see Cody walk out with a win. I have no doubt. This is the match I feel the most comfortable in, and if Brock wins, I will be shocked. Cody, I think, is going to possibly get jumped by Randy or Bray afterwards, which I would pop for either one of those. But I think it's time that we move on from this feud, let Brock go hunting, and let Cody start doing some really good storytelling with somebody else in a feud that matters and makes sense. So where does that leave us? This match, guys, Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. We are 3 years down the road of this historic title reign. We are a month removed from Roman finally being pinned in a match for the first time in 3.5 years by this man right here, his own blood. Main event, Jey Uso, his right-hand man, who has finally broken out of the chains that Roman Reigns had put around him that stemmed from their feud in 2020 when they had those incredible matches for the Universal Championship. They're going to have another great match here. Might be the best match of Roman's reign. Could be. Jey ain't winning. I'm sorry. The story does not end here for Roman Reigns. I don't think it does. I'd be cool if it did. I don't think it would be the end of the world if Jey Uso was the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. From like a bookending perspective of storytelling, like, yeah, absolutely. Jey started the Bloodline storyline. Jey ends the Bloodline storyline. But where's Jimmy? I really think WWE is going to create a world in which Jimmy, for no reason at all, is going to screw his brother. And he's going to say, I'm the one who should have been the tribal chief. Why should it be you? We're twins. Or we should have done this together. I really hope I'm wrong. But whether that's what happens or not, I still don't see Jey walking out with the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. I don't. Now, I could see in a world where a certain People's Champ shows up and costs Roman the match, I could see that being the case. That would be awesome. And I could see that being how they make Jey win the championship, building towards a Roman Rock title match at WrestleMania down the road. But I still think we're going to get Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania. Although I've also heard Cody Gunther, and that would be amazing as well. There's a lot of ways this can go. I'm just gonna hitch my cart to the Roman horse. Like, I really think that Roman's got this, and I don't see the reign ending tonight. It'd be cool if it did, but I don't think it will. So, those are my SummerSlam 2023 predictions. I've got this guy. Got Jason Momoa. I'm sorry, you guys are gonna hate that joke. I've got this guy. I've got Roman Reigns walking away with that belt still around his waist, still on his shoulder. Hopefully Paul Heyman comes out with the other 2 belts. I've noticed that, unless I'm missing something, he's not been representing the other belts recently. But I think this SummerSlam card is going to be stacked. I'm excited for the whole evening. Excited for the show. This time I have no LA merch, LA Night merch. So, like, guys, if you enjoy the content, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below your predictions, and somebody send me an LA Night shirt. Okay, love you. Bye.